everybody, it's low carb and keto nutrition specialist Amy Berger from 2itnutrition.com, bringing you the one and only keto without the crazy. Today's topic is a viewer request, and it's a pretty good one. I had kind of a hard time deciding what to call this video because I didn't want to make it misleading. It's what if keto isn't working so well? And it's not so much, I think when people hear that, they would mostly think weight loss, right? Because we know that there's lots and lots of reasons why people adopt a low carb or ketogenic diet, but probably number one on the list, at least right now and for the last few years, is weight loss. So if I say, like, what if keto isn't working? Most of us probably automatically assume that means what if I'm not losing weight, or what if my weight loss is really, really slow? I actually want to talk about the other stuff today because that's what this viewer was talking about specifically. Things like type 2 diabetes, hypertension, especially high blood pressure, and maybe any other health issue you might have that we typically are told keto is really good for improving or possibly getting rid of altogether, right? We've heard by this point that depending on how you define reversal or remission, a ketogenic diet can put type 2, you can reverse type 2 diabetes or put it into remission. You can basically get rid of PCOS, get rid of non-alcoholic fatty liver. Most people's joint pain goes away, heartburn, acid reflux, also hypertension, the high blood pressure. What if you are dealing with one of these things or some other health issue that I haven't mentioned that has not gotten better, or that maybe is better? I mean, chances are whatever you started with, it's better than it was, but it's still there. You know, we're constantly hearing that so many people with type 2 diabetes can completely get off their insulin, under medical supervision, of course, you all know. People can stop taking all kinds of oral medications for diabetes. People with type 1 diabetes can often massively reduce the doses of insulin that they require, even though they'll still always need some. All kinds of stuff, and especially that blood pressure. Blood pressure medicine often can be reduced or eliminated at some point. So, or antidepressants, thyroid medicine, the whole gamut. What if you're not there? And what if you're not there and you're really doing low carb or keto? Like, you're not messing around, you're not kidding yourself, you're not like, you do keto Monday to Friday and on the weekends not so much. Like, you're really truly giving this your all, and something just, like something is still there. And I think the person who asked me to do this video used the word outlier. What if you're a keto outlier? Meaning you still have type 2 diabetes, you still have high blood pressure. Well, the first thing I want to say is you're not really an outlier. But I say that with love because I want to reassure you that you're not the only one. It's not like everybody else reversed their diabetes and you're out there still on your metformin, or you're out there still on your whatever medications. I think this happens more than we like to admit, frankly, within the keto world. I think we like to make it sound like keto is a magical cure for darn near everything when we know it isn't. And I say we because I'm willing to include myself in that we overpromise maybe, but I also go out of my way very much deliberately to not overpromise. I'm very careful about using like the word prevent or cure. I always use the word, potentially improve, potentially prevent. I just try to be careful because I know that keto is not a magical cure for everything. And you know how I know? Guess who still lives with depression? This girl right here. Does keto massively improve depression for a lot of people? Yes. Has it massively improved mine? No. Now, I don't know how much worse it would be without keto. I haven't tried to eat 150 or 200 grams of carbs every day for 6 months to see what happens. I kind of have no desire to do that. Maybe my depression would be even worse if I didn't eat the way I do, or maybe it wouldn't. Maybe keto for me makes no difference. You know, my thyroid issues started long after I was already eating low carb for a while. So it's not like eating a low carb diet prevented it from happening, you know? So, and by the way, if this necklace and shirt look familiar, I'm recording like 4 or 5 videos today because I happen to feel good today. I don't feel good every day. That depression really smacks me upside the face sometimes. And so when I have a list of videos that I like kind of am planning to get to, and I have a good day, I have to try to knock out several videos because I don't know when that depression is going to come rearing back, and I'm not going to want to record any videos for 3 or 4 days or a week or 2. So keto doesn't fix everything, and even the things it's supposed to really fix, like diabetes and hypertension, let's talk about those. I have the great privilege of knowing Jackie Eberstein, who is a nurse, and she worked with the late great Dr. Atkins of Atkins Diet fame. She was like the right-hand man or right-hand woman, as it were, at the Atkins Center for Complementary Medicine in New York for about 30 years. There's almost nobody alive on the planet today who has more experience than Jackie does in a clinical setting working with patients of all walks of life. So in fact, you hear me talk a lot about Dr. Westman, my co-author on the End Your Carb Confusion. She was one of his teachers. You know, who do you think he had to learn it from somewhere? Anyway, Jackie, because Jackie gets this question a lot, she has said, you know, sometimes things don't get better as much as we would hope, you know, and it like, we trust the patients or clients that are coming to us. If we take them at their word, this is what they're eating, this is what they're doing, everything looks good here, your blood pressure is still X, and that's a little too high, and so you still need to take this medicine. Now, I think most of the time, those medication doses can be reduced a lot. They can't always be stopped completely. And of course, that also depends on your comfort level and your doctor's comfort level. You know, a lot of these things, whether we're talking about A1C, and I think I did a video a while back on like why A1C is not the end all be all of your blood sugar, and I actually wrote an article about it for one of my freelance gigs. I'll put links to everything in the notes below. All of these numbers have been adjusted downward, or like, so cholesterol with statins, I mean, don't get me started on that, but like your level of comfort and your doctor's level of comfort with certain levels will depend on whether or not they're going to think you need medication. You know, and that doctor's opinion might be different from a different doctor's opinion. Like the blood pressure that they medicate you for now, there's different stages of hypertension. There's like pre-hypertension, stage 1, stage 2, and you know, on and on. The cutoff point for what used to be high blood pressure used to be higher. It's lower now than it used to be, which overnight kind of categorized a couple of million people as having high blood pressure where they didn't the day before. Same thing with cholesterol. The cutoff for cholesterol that was considered high is lower now than it used to be. So you might be medicated for something now that 50 years ago you would not have been medicated for. I'm not going to comment on whether that's good, bad, or indifferent. I'm just saying that there's a little bit of gray with some of this. You know, you might be taking medication because your doctor, and hopefully you along with your doctor in a joint decision-making process, decided that that was safest and best and the wisest course of action for you. I mean, what I'm really trying to say is, like, if you're still on medication that you thought you'd be able to stop, maybe you could stop it if you and your doctor were comfortable with your blood pressure being a little higher, or your blood sugar being a little higher. That's not my decision to make. That's your decision to make along with your doctor. So, but getting back to the real thing of the heart of the matter here, please do not feel like a failure. Please do not feel like you're doing something wrong, or you're broken in some way, you're damaged goods because your problem hasn't resolved 100% like those other people's has or have. I just think there are some things that don't go away. Or it is possible some things just take a lot longer to go away than we want them to. And I have the again, like, privilege of working closely with Dr. Westman with our group classes, that some people, to use type 2 diabetes as just an example, some people that take insulin, he has to deprescribe their insulin on the first day they start keto. He has to literally tell them, don't take your insulin today. Like, don't take it this week because I know what's going to happen to your blood sugar. There's other people who take months and months and months before they can stop that insulin. You know, they can start to decrease it a little bit here and there, but they still kind of they can't just not take it. And same thing with blood pressure. And I think blood pressure medicine takes longer in general than medicine for blood sugar. Like, that's a weeks to month thing rather than a days to weeks thing but even then, sometimes it can take a really, really long time. And even after that really long time, you might only get so far. And I wish I could tell you why that is. I don't think it has anything to do with how long you've had the condition, because I do know that some of the keto doctors we know have had patients who've been on insulin for 20 years, 30 years, and they can stop it within days or weeks. So it's not like, okay, the longer you've had a condition, the longer it's going to take to go away. I think sometimes that's the case, but not always. Sometimes it is. I just think, I don't know what I think. I don't want to repeat myself 68 more times. I really don't want you to feel like a failure. And I mean, one thing that you could do is, stay the course, trust the process, and just be patient, accept the fact that this does take time. If you're doing a really good, solid keto diet, then be assured that you're doing everything you can do to fix the problem, but maybe you're not. Maybe there is something else. And this is where a consultation with somebody like me, I do give private consultations, there's a link below in the notes, with somebody like me or some other keto, dietitian. I'm not a dietitian, like some other nutritionist or keto dietitian, or work with your doctor, ask them to help you dig a little deeper. Especially if your doctor is a keto savvy, keto knowledgeable professional, maybe you can just work together. I know appointments tend to be really short-lived and they're limited in time, but doc, I'm doing this program, I've lost 10 pounds, like, everything's getting better, but why is my blood pressure still so high? Do I just have to be patient, wait another 3 months, and then reassess? Or what else could I be doing? Is there something else I could be doing? And just as an example, this is not a recommendation for anybody watching, but as an example, there's pretty decent research that magnesium supplementation can help with hypertension. So if your blood pressure is high and you're not already taking magnesium, that's something you could consider. Same thing with potassium. But again, I'm not recommending this because I just did a video on potassium on keto, and I would say this same thing with magnesium. Various blood pressure drugs already cause your body to retain more magnesium or potassium. So in those situations, you might not want to supplement extra. something to talk to a doctor or nutritionist about. But there, even exercise is good for blood pressure. Exercise is good for depression. Yes, it helps mine sometimes, not all the time. It's just like, okay, you're doing keto. What else are you doing? Maybe there's something else. For so many things, keto alone does make them go away, but not always. So if you're in that situation of not always, maybe there is something else. And I can't guess what that something else is without knowing the specific, issue that you're talking about. But just to reiterate, not everything goes away on keto. Not everything goes away. As powerful as this way of eating is, and believe, if I didn't think it was powerful, I wouldn't have established my entire career helping people do it, right? Like, clearly, I think it's pretty powerful, but it doesn't fix everything. Or maybe I shouldn't say it doesn't fix everything completely. You might improve a lot, and there's going to be that last little bit that just doesn't go away. And that's okay. Better, isn't it so much better to only have that last little bit remaining than to still have that joint pain all day, every day? Or isn't it better to still be on that one pill for diabetes instead of being on 6 pills and insulin? Isn't it better to be on a third the dose of the blood pressure medicine you were on a year ago? You're still on it, but you've cut the dose by 2/3. Sometimes we just need a little help. But I do encourage you, while you give yourself the grace of knowing that you're doing keto and you are being proactive, you are taking that active role in resolving these issues. Be proud of yourself for that. Give yourself credit for that. But I do encourage you to keep exploring. Maybe there is something else that I could do. Whether it's your diet, maybe I did that video on nutrient deficiencies. I'll put a link. Like, maybe you have a little shortfall somewhere that's causing an issue. B12 deficiency, don't get me started on that. That's rampant and very underdiagnosed. Lots and lots of stuff can happen from B12 deficiency. Don't count that out. Not B12 specifically, but just maybe there's a little shortfall in your diet somewhere. Or just there are other nutrients like the magnesium that you can take that just kind of grease some of these skids a little bit, like help the process along. I'm not going to get too far off the map here, but sleep and stress. There's lots of, don't downplay the importance of good quality sleep and of stress reduction or mitigation. If you can't reduce it, like management, that's all I'll really say. I don't want to beat that horse too much, but what are you doing besides a ketogenic diet that could potentially help this issue? But if you've got some stuff that hasn't gone away, you're not the only one. You're not alone. It's frustrating, I know. It is frustrating. I wish keto cured my depression. Oh my God. Oh my goodness, do I wish that. It didn't. And that's okay. I think I'm very happy with most of my health. And I have depression. Okay, all right. I'm going to stop talking now. Thanks for watching. Do you all know that I'm on Patreon? Patreon.com/2itnutrition, link below in the notes. If you like when I do those impromptu pop-up Ask Me Anything sessions or chit chat sessions, you can have that every week. If you join on Patreon, it's $5 a month, not $5 a week for that call, $5 a month. And you get a weekly live call with me and other perks. I do patron only little audio sessions where I talk about research papers with you, like I explain cool research that's going on. I rant a little more and with a little more spicy language than you get here on the public YouTube. So check that out and subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and I'll see you next time.